Hey guys, how you doing? It's Andy Elliott. I'm here today with my man, Tony.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Check this out. All right, so today is going to be negotiation series 3 out of 4, okay, on our closing and negotiations 101. Today we're going to be talking about the trade-in. So the first one we were on price objections. Series 2 was over payment objections. And if you haven't seen those, I'll actually add those in the description below. You can go back and watch those videos. If you've been following it, this is going to be Closing Negotiations 101 Series 3. And we're going to go over when the customer says, I want more for my trade-in, okay? This one right here, it's very simple, but you have to have it tattooed on your heart. Because what I see a lot of salesmen doing is actually giving away free money. The customer will say, hey, I think I want more for my trade-in, or I'm not taking that. And the salesman says, okay, what did you think that it was worth? And then they tell you, and then you go along the lines of saying, well, if I can get that, would you buy it now? And then you go take it back to your management team. I don't want you to do that. I want you to learn to hold gross. I want you to learn to make more money. And I want to give you a couple ways to tattoo this on your heart. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you 4 ways to do it, okay? So when I give you these 4 ways, maybe you don't like one of them. Don't use it. Let me tell you this. When I go into closing, everything that we do is in a seated position. I use all 4. So what you need to do is understand that your customers, they will pay what you want them to pay. You just have to give them reasons and excuses why they should pay it. And by the way, shoot me a text message. Let me give you this little kind of guide here that will help show you how to walk somebody through I want more for my trade-in. That way when you're role playing, you have this when you're practicing. Look, 918, I'm just going to write this number, 210-0254. This is pretty easy. There's my cell phone, 918-210-0254. This is simple. Shoot me a text message, say, Andy, shoot me the I want more for my trade-in objection guide, and I'll send it to you. That way you can start role-playing on your own and practicing. It'll have all 4 of them in front of you, and it'll be something that'll help you elevate your game and learn new skill to make new money.
That's right. That's right.
All right, so check this out. So let's say this is what a pencil looks like. Let's say your manager puts 18.9 on there. Let's say, I don't know, he puts 7,000 for the trade, right? This would be a price. This would be a trade. And let's say the payment's $399 a month. When I present this pencil to Tony, I'll say, hey, great news, Tony, 18.9, 7,000 for the trade, $399, sign here. Let me get your new car cleaned up for you.
Andy, I appreciate it. I want more money for my trade, though.
I understand, Tony. Let me show you how we arrived at the top value for your trade-in. That little line right there, memorize it. I understand, Tony. Let me show you how we arrived at the top value for your trade-in. That right there is something that you need to memorize. It's tattooed on your heart. It's a reflexive response, and it's not combative. Did you feel, where'd you come up with that?
Not at all.
I've heard the stupidest things from salespeople that actually starts this, okay? So I understand, Tony. Let me show you how we have arrived at the top value for your trade-in. What's Tony going to say? Okay. It sounds professional. It's fair. Where do we start? Well, I always start here with this. I say, so Tony, what we do and how we arrive at the value is this. Obviously, we've prepared a $7,000 offer for your trade-in. Have you ever heard of Mannheim Auto Auction? I call it Mannheim AA. And what that means is that we'll call that the auction, okay? What we do is obviously, whether you traded your vehicle in today or you didn't, we actually see what it would cost us if we went out to buy that car at the auction. Okay. So how we do this is that we take the VIN number to your vehicle, okay? And it's 17 digits, right? And what happens is we type the 17-digit VIN number to your car. Secondly, we put the miles in. I put in the 30,000 miles that were on your car. Okay? And then, lastly, we put in the condition of your vehicle. Where do you rate the condition of your vehicle? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Where do you roughly rate it?
Probably about a 7 or 8.
That's where we rated it, an 8. You see that? How hard was that? Pretty simple. So, Tony, we rated it at 8. When we do that, it pulled up that there was roughly about 30 vehicles that were like yours that we could buy in the area if we went to the auction to buy your car. If you were going to buy a car, right, and you were going to give a trade-in for somebody, those are numbers, if you had access to this, you would probably pull that up as well. Tony, the value the auction gave us for an 8 is $6,500. We're actually $500 higher than the local auction. That's point 1. It's pretty simple, right? It just flows nice and easy. Point 2, I go into local dealers. Obviously, since you're trading in a Subaru, right, nobody knows more than what a Subaru is worth in a Subaru store. So what we did is that we called our 3 local dealers. When we did this, we talked to them about the condition of the vehicle. We said it was an 8. We gave them the VIN. We gave them the miles. And what they gave us, Tony, was a $6,000 offer. Now look, nobody knows more than what a Subaru's worth than a Subaru dealer, right?
Right.
Tony, I'm $1,000 higher than them. Okay? You see how I'm walking through this? Listen, you have to have an answer tattooed on your heart to give. Your customers need reasons and excuses why they should say yes and why they should take a $7,000 offer. Let's move into option 3, reconditioning. What I call this right here is this. We'll call it recon. This vehicle, obviously, if you traded it in right now, right? Remember we talked about it needed the windshield. Remember earlier we talked about the things that we would do to it to make it like new for the next person that owned it. You told me that you probably put windshield wipers in it. You probably do a transmission flush. The back of it has that dent. We probably need to get that fixed. Bottom line is that if your daughter was here and you traded this car in and we were selling it to her, we wouldn't sell it to her the way that it is. We would have to recondition it to make it new for like her and her family, right?
Okay.
Roughly, the average cost is going to be $800 in reconditioning. That's probably a fair amount. And at that point, I could probably walk down the points of the money that we would have to spend to get the car reconditioned to make it like new. Heck, it could be $2,800. But bottom line is, if you've done your research right and go to the trade-in evaluation, right? Okay. What I'll do is I'll connect the link below in the description. I'll put trade-in value video. Watch the trade-in value video where I ask great questions and get great answers, that we actually receive this information right here. So you'll actually be prepared to give this statement, okay? So this number right here is a real number that will come from the trade-in evaluation video. So when I give that to Tony, I'll say, Tony, so the fact is, I have to spend the $800, right? You got to understand,
Right.
I'm giving you $7,000 plus I have to spend the $800. Okay? You wouldn't pay full retail for this vehicle, would you? Of course you wouldn't, and we wouldn't expect you to. Just like we can't expect the next person to on this vehicle. And my price is very fair on my car, right? So I have to turn around and give fair values on your car when we resell it. And we have to recondition it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, then I run into my last part, which is time to sell. This is pretty simple. So Subarus are great cars, okay? But I want to explain this to you. The time to sell one is normally around 90 days on our lot. We have an idea of how long it takes to sell a car. Subarus take about 90 days. Do you know how much it costs roughly a month to hold a vehicle in inventory until we sell it?
No.
It's about $300. Tony, if I have to take that and hold it for 3 months, like we have the data that shows how long it takes, Tony, that's another $900 just in interest we have to pay because it's called a floor plan, right?
Okay.
Time to sell. It's part of being a dealership. Now, I know that doesn't mean anything to you, but that means everything to every dealership out there, okay? And the deal is that that's a consideration of running a business. We're high in all the critical areas that are important to you and your family. We're a business. This is part of the accrued expense of what a business has. So we have to spend the reconditioning, we have to spend the time it takes to sell, and at the end of the day, we're giving you top dollar for your vehicle. We're higher than the local auctions, we're higher than the local dealers. Tony, this is how we've arrived at the top value for a vehicle. Now I apologize, I forgot to ask you, going back to the vehicle you're buying, would you like to set your first payment due towards the beginning of the month, the middle of the month? What's going to work better for you on that payment? At that point in time, go into a diversion close, and it's pretty simple. Look, I want to explain this to you. At that point in time, if Tony doesn't say, Andy, I'll take it. All right, let's do the deal. Would you agree that Tony had a number in mind, right?
Right.
Maybe it was Tony wanted $9,000 for his trade, right? And I'm at $7,000. Well, now Tony probably has lowered, right, his value of what he thinks he should be getting for his car now. Maybe he won't accept the $7,000, but I defended the pencil, brought the wall down, and maybe now Tony will take $7,800 for his trade-in. And guess what? I may say, all right, Tony, look, at the end of the day, I'm not the owner. I don't own the store. But let me go to bat for you because that's my job. Is that fair? Okay, here's what I'm going to do. $7,800 for your trade. This is the price on the vehicle. This is your payment, obviously, giving you a little more for your trade. It's going to affect that a couple bucks. Sign here, and let me take that back to my manager and see if I can make that work for you.
Okay.
It's that simple. I have a commitment now, but I didn't go straight for the commitment because what I see out of dealerships is this. Hey Tony, 18,900, 7,000 for your trade. This is your payment. Tony says, hey, I need 9,000 for my car. I'm not taking that. And he says, ooh, well, my manager said that was all he would give. He said, well, thank you. Give me my keys. And guess what? You didn't even get a chance to present anything, or you run off and go get your manager. What I want you to do is stay and defend the pencil. I've just given you 4 ways to overcome I want more for my trade-in. It's very simple. Watch this video over and over. You can tattoo it on your heart, and that way when somebody says, I want more for my trade, you say, I understand. Let me show you how we arrived at the top value for your trade-in.
Right.
Okay? Boom. Take it to paper, flip the sheet over, and close the deal. Closing and negotiations 101. I want more for my trade. It's pretty easy, right?
Super simple.
Guys, crush it. Shoot me a text. I'll get you the little printout of this guide so you can practice it on your own. Have a blessed day. We'll see you guys soon.
See you.